I believe, I speak from experience. Just listening to a David Ruffin interview today, and the things he said, one of the great things he said, really stood out to me a lot. He said, sometimes you have to take the low road. You don't know how you get there, which road you're traveling, and sometimes you end up taking the back road, the low road. And he said, I never wanted to see the mountaintop. And I find that a great thing. Not that he said it to make him humble or anything like that, but what stood out to me about that is that key point that if you look at the life that David Ruffin lived and what's been left and said of him by record labelists, as it's written, record label people said, the history of David Ruffin says, he was an egotistical person, and the movie made him look like he was such an egotistical madman, drug user, who put himself over everyone else, Otis Williams. But for a man to say he's not seeking the mountaintop, sometimes he had to take the low road, and that he would not want to see the mountaintop, is those things that say and show a man as he is, and not what people say he is or believe he is. Because he couldn't been an egoist or out for, it's all about me, me, me. If he's a guy who says, I don't even want to see the mountaintop. Sometimes I have to take the low road. Just didn't say that from the story. Everything that's really kind of, written about it is misconstrued in the image. And it's the same for myself. And I'm thinking today that when you are someone great, you're not like a small person, or you're not a little person, and you're not out for respect, you're not out for attention or applause, or as David Ruffin said, the mountaintop. Believe it or not, a lot of people think that I'm after the mountaintop. I've never been after the mountaintop, or the money, or the fame. I've never been one for the mountaintop. And yet, I've met countless people who, due to my personality and due to my talk, would say, I'm about the mountaintop. So I just was just glad to know that whatever happened to David, it will happen, the same will happen to me, because it's happening to me. And I like that. I like that. When someone lies on you, someone says you're trying to be this and you're not. I love that type of stuff. I really do. And I was thinking today, thinking about being at this part of my life where I'm able to walk away from my heart, the girls in my heart, that power that whole relationship has over me, and being able to walk away from it. And I was saying to myself earlier, how great it is to be able to accept the truth, just to be able to accept the truth, the truth and the facts. As long as you start off and build on that, and you end on it, everything in the middle, and all else is well. Local disturbance in the neighborhood. So anyway, lately I was just trying to get over my heart. The person who is my heart, as Prince said in the song Adore, as I told her I adore her. She never, adored me. And nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. As long as it's honest and she's true. She never lied about that. She owns my heart, my mind. And just the way things went down. I was like, yeah, you know what? I understand. I get it. I accept the fact. And now I'm just able to move on. And I'm at that thing where you just say to yourself, no, I can't change that she's my heart. I don't want to change it. I don't mind. And yet, I accept what it is. So I was just thinking, Bobby Womack said in the song, once love took my heart, I can't let it take my mind. Martino always in my heart. But I think whatever is next, I got my mind. My mind says, I love what makes sense. and someone that'll make a whole lot of sense to me. And that's a beautiful thing right now. It's a beautiful thing. When people don't know you, how can they love you when they don't know you? When, say for instance, once, Martina said to me, well, these bad things are happening to me. And I think it's because of you. She was across the water, and she said bad things are starting to happen to her. She thinks it's because of me. And I don't know if that was a joke or what. But that really kind of hurt. Well, I wouldn't say hurt, but it sucked. Because I know she was not, no way possible because of me. Because for one, I don't even know what you're doing. I don't know what the bad things are that's happening. And as I told her, I would hurt myself if I ever would hurt you. I couldn't even dream or dare or imagine. How could you ever say I would even hurt you? So for bad things to be happening to you because of your association with me, how can that even be possible? It's like, I don't know, one girl said, she got divorced. She said she believed I did it. Like, I don't know where they come up with that shit. But it's things like that make me say, well, obviously you don't know me because I would never even want you to get divorced. I don't know who you love in your business, so how can you say it's me? I would never wish that upon you. And for bad things to be happening to you, to the other girl, how can that possibly be my fault? It's like these people don't even know you. And yet they blame you for this and that and accuse you of this and that. And it does suck. But the beauty of it is knowing it's really not me. Everything they accuse me of, whatever they believe me to be, is not me. And the things that they do in their own lives, whatever Marty was doing that was causing her bad, I know it was me. Because every one of my thoughts about her is loving. I love and adore her. I would die for her. So to be, any type of ill will to be done to her by me, that's blasphemy and ridiculous and impossible. But other would say she got divorced and she believed it was my fault. I didn't even know she was married, more or less who she's married to. Nor do I care or would have cared. And if you're married to someone, I would never want you to divorce them for me or for anyone. I want you to stay married. Because that's obviously a sign that you love that person and that you want to be with them. So, to look at the type of way, I don't know what it is. When you notice that you love people, I mean, truly, and you see things like that, for example, it's just a blessing to be able to see it and say, I can free myself because what is it that I'm loving? If I'm staying with a relative, say I've stayed with a relative, a sister for about 4 days, and they scared of me. She said, me and her wife is scared of me. Her wife said she's not scared of me, but my sister said, oh, we're scared of you. As well as my grandfather and my grandmother said, we're scared of you. And I believe, of course, when you love these people, I think about that scripture in the Bible, which is perfect love, there is no fear. There is no fear in perfect love unless you are guilty of something. And I found that this is so true. I don't fear. I never feared them. And to see my loved ones fear me, they're guilty. And it proved that they're guilty of something. And I kid you not, they proved that they're guilty of something. So, when Martina said, bad things are happening to me, and I believe it's because of you, I already know what she was talking about, her karma and things that she was already doing. That was bad for her. So now she's blaming me. For one woman to get divorced, and I never talked to her except to say, hey, and now you're divorced and you're blaming it on me. You're guilty of something, So both of them already showed they were guilty of something. And my sister said, her and her wife were scared of me. It proved in the end they were guilty of something. When my grandmother and grandfather, said they were scared of me, it proved they were guilty of something. And I love that. The truth don't lie. It's in the Bible. I'm not saying the Bible is God on this, a whole thing truth. I just know it's wise and it's wisdom. There's a lot of truth in it. So that whole scripture, perfect love, there is no fear. And so to be able to walk away and cut those people out of my life is obviously not worthy of my love, and obviously not for me to be loved because due to their fear. And what are they guilty of? they're guilty against things against me. So one thing to be lying on me. And it's the same thing with David Ruffin. He was feared. He was loved in the music industry and loved in Motown, but he was feared. And I believe it's because, the fact that we're not like them. David, like myself, was very individualistic and very independent. I feel that people find that when I'm not pussy whipped, sex whipped, obsessed with sex, or living for respect or opinions of others, and I don't suffer from any trauma. I don't suffer from any type of drug addiction. I'm not hurt. I haven't lost anything. I really believe that people find it hard to believe, and then they don't believe it, and then the other flip side of that is they begin to envy it or hate it, and then fear it. And the fear comes because how can they explain it? Only way they can possibly explain it is to lie on me, or lie on David, or to let us talk and explain ourselves, about ourselves. And David Ruffin and Eddie Kendricks never allowed to tell their side of the story without being taken to court. For instance, how the Temptations got their name. If Eddie Kendricks would have spoke on that, he could have been sued. And it's just like, we're dealing with people that I've dealt with. As soon as I go to say the truth, they shut it down. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Because in this world, man, the lies always perish and the truth will always remain and be eternal. So knowing that I'm the truth, I gotta love it. Because that means everything that those other people about and stand for is gonna die. They're miserable. So I've already, like I say, the devil and Satan's already been defeated. All of them, those lies, the people who live in fear, they've already been defeated. And it's funny. And it don't hurt at all that you find out these things about people. Because when you're real, once you find out these things about people, you know what you have and who you are is so much more worthy and valuable than who they are. And that's why we should detach. And that's why I should feel nothing for them. As to regret anything, I don't. To forget anything, I don't. To forgive anything, I don't have anything to forgive. And to see if they die or go in a car crash or burn in a house fire, it will not move me. Because it's almost like saying, in truth, I love that when I was deceived, when I was fooled, and then when I didn't see clearly. And there's nothing wrong with accepting the fact that I didn't see that. I'm not mad that I was fooled or that I was blind. I'm not mad at all about that. But now that I see, I'm glad to know that I see and that I was blind. And now that I can see why not to love that person. Or why that love I have for them shouldn't hurt. Or why it's not going to hurt. And it don't hurt because I'm free from it. When you're good, you say, oh, I was touching and reaching down to pick up that evil person. And then once you start to see, you say, oh, I see now. And you jerk your hand back. And you know that thing that's going to fall and die in that misery and in that hate and that envy and those lies. I would have been more hurt to save that. I'd have been mad more so to save them than to help them and to love them. So to know that I did love them, that's cool. But to now know that I don't, it's even better. Because they had nothing to love anyway. You see? And the great thing about it all is the lessons. That's the greatest thing in the world to me. And I think that's one of the greatest things that I love more than anything is that life is full of lessons and principles. And you learn. Marvin Gaye had a song, Life is for Learning. And you learn. And once you learn, you get better and life gets better, There's so many things that I could say that people don't want to hear. I'm not out to teach. But I'm not a man who fears death. I'm not a man who looks for respect, who needs other people's opinion. Hell, you take some people, if I was to drop my sister off in her own state that she stays in without a cell phone and a car, she wouldn't make it. She couldn't live. She couldn't survive. But I've been so attached to the real and the truth. You can drop me anywhere and I'll live and I'll survive and I'll make it. Because I'm real. And there's something that comes with that. And of course, we could tell these the non-believers and the dissayers and the haters and the envious and the liars and the deceivers. We can tell the truth. They don't want to hear it. So their fears and their miseries and their traumas, that's theirs. They got to keep it. And I want them to keep it. I don't want no deliverance for them. I don't want nothing for them that they don't want for themselves. Because wanting it for themselves, you have to sit and talk to them. And they have to want to learn and want to understand. They want to see. Nobody cares about where you at in life. Nobody cares about how much money you got. Nobody cares about, want to be seen as. Because you shouldn't care. If you don't see that, I'm not going to waste my time talking. Because everybody got to die. And I can tell you right now, all those people that I can say or I talked about, none of them is ready. So their lives got to be miserable, no matter what they got or what they do, that fear that they live in and so forth, that need of material things to make them feel somebody, and none of it's gonna save them. They're getting old and they're dying, and that stuff can't save them. The sex can't save them. The title of marriage can't save them. Their spouse can't save them. Their girlfriend and husband can't save them. Their job can't save them. That church they go to can't save them. The book they read can't save them because they're not real. And that's the beautiful thing. Anything not real is going to die. And I don't know everything about people, why they do what they do and why they are the way they are. And I personally don't care. They can't open up their mouth and talk about it themselves and be honest with themselves, then I don't expect them to tell me and be honest with me. But I ain't got time to be pulled back by no one, and I never will allow it, and I don't stop for no one, I don't. But what keeps me going, man, is the humor in it all. Like, I'm winning. I'm winning. Because I stand over everybody's grave. In that moment when they're gonna die and all that they live for, and where they at in their fears and all they tried to stand for, and all those lies and how they lied to themselves and what they built their belief in themselves up on. Oh, I just love watching it fall, because it's gonna fall. And I remember, being the truth from day one. As a child, being honest with myself, telling the truth, always happy, smiling, being myself, shining. That's just natural in me, and then how it's always been catered and so forth like that. And I see everything that they stand for is praised almost to a point in this world, but then again, it's not praise. It's kind of like people know they got to be fake, and then they, I don't know, kind of laugh at it. But I don't know, man. I don't know what to say to people, so I don't really have anything to say. I'm just glad that I am free from the lies. I don't stand on those, and I don't live on them, and I have no fear, even in love. And just because I've loved and I've seen, my heart, turn and say, it's me that causing her bad luck or whatever. And I don't even know what she's doing, or the bad luck that, she never explained. Somebody else saying I causing the divorce and it's my fault. Like, I don't even, and lies on me out of jealousy and envy. The fact that people hate that. It's like Puff Daddy said in the song. He said, people want to hit me because their words don't offend me. And I mean, just think about that. People want to hit me because their words don't offend me. Person with the car and the stacks of money, just because I don't look up to them, and they gotta look up to me, and because their words don't offend me, they hate that. They get mad and all that type of shit. Just to see that even so has not even stopped me from loving. I don't love them. I don't hate them. I'm just leaving them and letting them be. If they come out on top in the end to a better place, then that's good for them. It's like it's good for me where I am to be away from them and to separate myself and all the things that I've already gained, naturally and God-given, and for what I sought for, wisdom, the truth, and honesty, and God, and goodness. Those things I sought for first. Never this material stuff. So like the gifts versus the material world. Most people just sought the material world. I sought the gifts. So I was always good for me. Going through these things have not changed me as to say, oh, you can't love. You know how people say, you must have been heartbroken if you can't love. No, man. That makes whatever I do, I know whatever I come to love more and more, it's got to be realer and more truer. And even if I'm never a person who's after a partner or after a wife. Again, I'm real, I'm true. None of us are created, to marry and things like that. Personally, we're all created individual. So, if I'm not after marriage, I'm not after couple, or after children, or things, I'll always be happy, and I'll always still love people for their good qualities. And if I find someone that's really good, and I don't, the relationship sense, I don't X that out, even though it's not something that I want. But say I meet someone who's kind of like me, then I don't have a problem with trust and things like that. I find that a lot of times people that I met always wanted me to be vulnerable just so they wouldn't feel inferior to me. Even though just to conversate with me and for me to be honest and open about myself, that I don't know what they want more than vulnerable. Like I tell people, I do drugs, I sniff powder. When I go to talking about that, people, they don't want to hear it. Like, oh, that's bad. Or be like, I was a thief. They're like, I don't want to hear that. That was bad. Or like, I've been to prison and jail and I do what the fuck I want to do. And I'm respected and I'm loved and I'm still a good guy in the back. Like, they don't want to hear that. And it's like, well, goddamn, I guess I can't be vulnerable if no one wants to honest God truth, even though I'm just being open. So I'm not really vulnerable. Even though I think we all vulnerable when we're with anybody. Because you never know who'll push you out of a hotel window. One lady, I don't even visit our hotel room anymore because I really got this thing about windows. I must have been pushed out a window in past life like a cat. A cat woman. And I always believe it's a woman who did it. Like some woman pushed me out a window. So, that's real vulnerability when you're living with someone and sleeping next to somebody in your bed. But as far as relationships with people in my life, I do that all the time. Just got my pen and notepad. And, I just live and I don't have to loyalty and nothing like that. Because people will always show themselves in the end. And the great thing is, David Ruffin, they feared he would leave the group. And, I think they feared his success as a solo artist. When a man says, I sung with a group and I've broken money and I love working with a group and I want to go solo. Imagine the people who feared that, man. The record label feared how much money he would get and what that would do. David Ruffin was dating an Italian woman. He probably would have left the record label further her career. As a black, intelligent man, David Ruffin was very intelligent for his time. In the 60s, he was very, well-spoken. Like, that type of influence, they would fear that. David Ruffin goes solo, then what would happen with the group? As the group lose, its fame and its stature. Yeah, that's how it really is, man. People hate, and they work out of fear, and they work against you because they fear you. But what God has given to me naturally, or creation, how you want to say it, I have to say, y'all niggas can't hold me down. Like y'all want to say, y'all can't touch this. Like David Ruffin said in the interview, everything that tried to pull you down, and people go lying on me. And try to bring me down. I know that means they're beneath me. The devil's already defeated, and I love that. You can't win. No rain, no winter's cold can stop me, baby.